Check 1, 2, 2. Good morning. Good morning. I am like running late. I didn't even get to play any intro music. Hold on, let me get some music going. Dogs are outside barking. All right, are we live yet? This is making for great live stream, internet, TV, radio, whatever you want to call this medium. Check 1, 2. Hello, hello. Well, the good news is nobody's watching yet, so that's always good. I am looking for music here. Now, let's see here. Morning.
Driving down the back roads, the same ones that our parents did. Just trying to make her own way, half taking packs of cigarettes. See, we tore out that bench seat so we could fit more kids in. Chasing sunrise till we sleep, everyone was more golden. That 440 is the melody, the boys and girls want to get out. Everybody's dressed up, wearing the high school best, high top kicks and flannel shirts. You with a flat skirt never hurt. And we swore one day we could be like the folks ever been. We wouldn't stop till we got there. That 440 to the family, the boys and girls want to get out. The coffee sun up ahead, what about another washout? That 440 and a fancy, all torn up, pretty good now. We swore one day we would leave, every now we took that car out. And we used to paint kids' names after places the folks had never been. And we're pretty sure one day we could get there. And we used to hang kids' names after places the folks had never been. But without me, I was sure Brooklyn could get there.
This is my favorite part of the song right here. I love this part. I'm singing the backups, and then Billy's singing the mains. But the way we built this, I just love it. All right, good morning. That's the Small Kicks, my band. Billy Thompson wrote that song about What did he write that song about? That song was written about just him and his buddies growing up in Paso, rolling around in an old, I think he said it was an Oldsmobile or something. And they literally ripped the bench seat out so they could fit more people in the car. And so that's the story of that car and those times. The song was produced by none other than our favorite guitar player and person in our band. What do you call it? Bandmate? Yes, Todd Andrew. Todd Andrew is a fascinating, interesting cat that I'll get on the show at some point. Because Todd's got a great story. He grew up here in Paso, always wanted to be a musician, always wanted to play guitar. And Todd is now, by trade, a professional music producer. He writes and composes music for film and television, and also for us, the Small Kicks, and a number of other different bands. So that's Todd Andrew that produced that track, but that was 440 by the Small Kicks. And so I'm pumped. We had band practice last night, and it was the first time we've had band practice in probably 9 months. We did some stuff. We've been writing some music and got together over COVID a couple different times to try out some different songs and whatnot, and share ideas. But we hadn't had any shows on the books in probably 2 years. I mean, Sam Lowe, you could probably tell us when your party was, but that was the last. That was the last show that we did, was a party for a celebration for Sam Lowe coming out of his double transplant operation. That was, I feel like it was a couple years ago in the park at Templeton. But we've got shows on the books this year, so I'm super excited. I've got my Barrel House hat on. We are playing Barrel House, which will be the 7th of May. The Small Kicks will be returning to the stage, the truck stage that we used to populate from time to time over the course of many years. 2000, I think actually the first time we played there was 2013. And then we came back there in 15 and went 15, 16, 17, 3 years in a row. We played, I feel like 8 or 9 times a year at Barrel House. And did these summer concert series things, which were a freaking blast. I'll just, it was a lot of fun. It was like a reunion every time we went. And that truck stage was funny because it's tiny, right? But we had 7 people in our band. And at one point we had not only 7 people, we added a sax player and a backup singer. And so let's see, I'm trying to pull up a picture here. Let's see if I can find a couple pics, but we had a backup singer. Oh, this is me when I was skinny. Look at this. Man, I used to be really fit. And so someday I'll get back in shape like that. But that was me. That was corporate Mike right here. That's when I had a big corporate job. I had to do my hair nice. I had glasses. I looked important and smart because I was wearing glasses, so you could really believe what I was singing about. Let me find. I'll find some good pics of the Small Kicks in at Barrel House. Let's see here. Small Kicks, Barrel House Brewing. Okay, let's see this one. Yeah, so this is like. These photos were taken by Brandy Potts, who is a super talented, beautiful friend, an artist. This is a Barrel House back in 2016. We actually had merch. That's when Todd had a lot of facial hair. It was a family-friendly event, and this was when we first came out with Paso Made, and we had a blast. We would do these shows once a month at Barrel House, family-friendly. And everybody would bring out their lawn chairs and sing along. We'd play a lot of songs that people knew and people could dance. And let's see here. Where'd that truck shot go? Yeah, so like that's kind of like Barrel House in a nutshell, right? A ton of people out there, a little band on stage on this little pickup truck. Just a lot of fun. So we will be returning to that stage on May 7th. That will be our homecoming of the first show that the Small Kicks will be playing live in over 2 years. Super pumped about it. And we had rehearsal last night, and I was encouraged and pleasantly surprised with the outcome, the way that we sounded. My left ear, you're going to see me kind of being bugged by it today. I've got this condition, I think, with this ear that is pretty much blown at this point, but at times it sounds like a blown speaker that's just trying to pop. And so that's always fun. And when I was younger, it was this ear that went out because I played drums and my snare drum was on my right side, and so was the monitor. And so this right side just completely got demolished. And I had 40% hearing loss in this ear at the age of 21. And now it's probably up to 60-ish. And this one's pushing about 60 to 70% loss probably. It's this one's now worse than this one, and I don't know why, but yeah, I'm encouraged by technology and health technology specifically, because I think that at some point I can probably get my ears fixed and be okay in the next 10 years, 20 years maybe. Band practice, we have a new drummer. Our drummer Jake had previous commitments for this year. He got and Jake was our second drummer. Our first drummer, Christian, lived in LA and could not continue to commit the time and the effort, excuse me, needed to kind of bring it to what we were going to do in 2015 to now. So we enlisted our old friend Jake, who Jake plays in a number of different bands, a couple punk bands here locally, and then another band called 4 Day Beard, which is another local band. And Jake had previous commitments this year, so he could not sit behind the drums for us this year. So we moved Nathan Slauson, who you guys might know Nathan. He leads worship at a church here in town, Paso. I don't know the name of the church, but Nathan's moving over from guitar to drums. And then Nathan's brother, Jason, who took some time off, was with us as a bass player for 6-7 years. Took a couple years off. Now he's coming back playing bass. Nathan's on drums. I'm on guitar and vocals. Todd's on guitar. Billy's on guitar, and Ben is on keyboard and vocals as well. So we're down to 6, which is, I think 6 is a manageable number for a band. And if any of you have ever been in a band, it's almost like being on a club sports team, or like a men's softball league, or you just the chances of all 6 of your schedules aligning so that you can actually accomplish things like, I don't know, learn songs or sound decent, or even write songs. Like the chances of all of the schedules aligning for you to be able to do that when you're in your 40s is like freaking magic. It's like lightning striking. And so, because everybody's got different things going, kids, jobs, kids, houses. Billy's in a spot where he's now, he's an important guy at Barrel House Brewing. He's a big sales guy, and he travels, and his wife and him enjoy the outdoors. And so they're going on vacations a lot. They have an Airbnb that they manage out in Three Rivers that they're traveling up. There's a lot of things going on in everybody's lives. So yeah, being in a band with 6 people and managing those schedules is like, wow. So I'm just happy when we actually hit the stage and people show up to the show and have a good time. Like that makes it all worth it. But so yeah, we're excited. I'm gonna need some help. I'm booking these acoustic shows. I'm getting back out myself to kind of work on my craft and my skills and get my voice back and get comfortable again performing and learning music and songs and stuff. So I'm going to need some help if you guys have any I'm afraid to do this, but I'll do it anyways. I'd love for you, and we'll check in with Anthony and get some updates on the news real quick. But we'll dive in and see what you guys think songs I should cover are, because I would love to get some feedback from you guys. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Just a side note, real quick. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking I was late for the show.
That's good.
And that's only because I have a busy day ahead of myself. So good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm glad that I had that effect on you to make you really worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, it's funny you had that dream. I dreamed of, I don't even remember what I dreamed of, but it had nothing to do with this. So what do you got go? You got a busy day today, huh? Oh, you're going to a funeral.
Yeah, well, it's a celebration of life. Yeah. So I'm in charge of the video recording. So I have all my video equipment all lined up and all that. So it's all ready to go. So.
Well, that's a good segue to talk about, speaking of video. This morning we have on our show a gentleman named Malcolm High, and Malcolm is responsible for putting together all of the video highlights you see on Facebook for all the Templeton games and sporting events. So Malcolm's going to come on and we're going to talk video with him today.
Awesome.
Yeah. Here, I'll share my screen real quick and you'll get a trip out of this. So does your video equipment look anything like Malcolm's did in 1989?
Absolutely not.
I mean, that thing is it's like a car. It's huge.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
That's an original camcorder.
Yeah. It's a H8 Pro, Video 8, High 8 Pro. That thing's massive.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I just have a Canon camera, so it's able to do everything that I need it to do. So.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yep. So I saw last night on Facebook, Your Own Backyard podcast Instagram account, Instagram, not Facebook. They posted some of the new he broke it down into like 6 or 8 different slides of all the bullet points from the Kristen Smart, Paul and Ruben Flores kind of arraignment thing yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I didn't, but I did read about it. I didn't read the actual things that were posted, but I did see it just kind of scrolling through Facebook. So
yeah. So I would highly suggest if you guys get an opportunity to go look at that post. He breaks it out pretty well. I did also notice in the public, it's public information. It's publicly listed, so it's not like they're doing anything illegal here. But here's something that he posted in public comments on 4/15/21. Detective Cole provided the following statements. Detective Cole is against bail for the defendant as they are in possession of biological evidence that makes them believe that the victim was buried under the defendant's father's deck at one time. He says that because of this, they think the father is involved in a family crime, and the detective said the defendant should not be released. He could move the body again. So yeah, this is the excavation below his deck at 710 White Court showed damning evidence that a body had been buried in the location and then recently moved. That to me is a crazy thing, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's wild that that stuff is out there. And so I mean, it looks like they're going to do another hearing here on Wednesday, right? To set bail amount for Ruben Flores.
Yeah. And so just let me kind of back up from yesterday. So they did have an arraignment hearing for both Paul and Ruben, and which both sides, as you watch the live stream from the court.com, both attorneys gave very compelling arguments, actually. And obviously, they tried to be persuasive one way or another. And as it came down to it, it came down to the bail amount. And Paul Flores, his status regarding bail hasn't changed, and he's deemed a flight risk by the judge. And as far as Ruben Flores goes, it sounds like on Wednesday he's going to have his bail reduced. So that's an interesting topic there. So we'll see what happens, like you said, tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's see here. Just pull up the notes. Prosecutor requests that his bail be raised. Ruben's attorney says Ruben is a fine, upstanding citizen of the community. He served 4 years in the Navy as a member of the Jubilee by the Sea Jazz Group, a Clark Center volunteer, formerly a reserve officer for the Redondo Beach Police Department. He says the evidence against Ruben is so minimal as to shock the conscience. He argues that the people's expert is not a soil scientist. Okay, so they're getting into the details again here. He adds Ruben tests 3 to 4 times a day for blood pressure and requests a release. Ruben, okay, so then the prosecutor's saying, well, Ruben Flores engaged in a felonious assistance and covered up for Paul Flores. He adds that Ruben's detainment is to eliminate the risk of tampering with evidence. He says it's common sense for Ruben that Ruben would continue to interfere with the investigation as he has for 24 or 25 years. So let's see here. The judge concluded that the facts do not support keeping Ruben in custody. That was interesting for me to read that. So the judge is concluding that the facts don't support keeping Ruben in custody. He says Ruben is in his 80s without a criminal history and that he intends to grant Ruben affordable bail, which is what you had said. So, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's coming down to the nitty gritty here as far as the bail amounts. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and don't quote me on this, I wouldn't be surprised if Ruben Flores is out in the next couple weeks.
Crazy. So crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So some key dates here. Let me get this up on the screen. Where is it? Boom. So key dates, preliminary, pre-preliminary. Okay. So now we got pre-preliminaries happening. May 17th. Yep. Another hearing to follow June 21st, preliminary hearing scheduled for, and that's tentatively scheduled for July 6th. All right. So there's kind of what we're looking at as this case continues to move forward. Yeah, crazy stuff. Okay. Anything else happening in and around the county?
Nope. Nothing to report as of this morning. I was up kind of late last night getting my stuff together for today. Nothing really to report. No RV fires like yesterday night or a couple nights ago now. Other than that, everything is quiet right now in regards to CHP. That they're not reporting anything on their website, which is a rarity. So just it's going to be another warm day. I think today is going to be another 85-day in Paso. Ooh. So it's going to be pretty warm again. So yeah, other than that, nothing else going on.
All right. Awesome. Yep. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We will chat with you at the end of the hour.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Anthony. Thanks. All right, Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions, just reporting on anything going on in and around the North County. So, all right, before the news, we were talking about songs. I heard a song last night because I've been listening to a lot of music in the last few days, trying to figure out. I'm adding songs to my list of covers for my acoustic shows, and so I've been creating this list of songs and. If you guys have song ideas, please hit them up, write them in the chat. or message me or DM me, whatever you want to do. But I need song ideas. I've got a number of songs that I've played over the years that I love, but I want to freshen it up a little. And I want to bring you some new songs. I heard a song last night that I haven't heard probably since 1987 or 8. And it was a terrible song, but it was a huge hit back in the 80s. And it was that Heart. Remember Heart? It was let me pull up the lyrics. Heart. Okay. The song was All I Want to Do Is, and it was like the chorus is, all I want to do is make love to you. I've got love in arms to hold on to. And then the second verse, so we found this hotel. It was a place I knew well. We made magic that night. Oh, he brought the woman out of me so many times easily. And in the morning when he woke, all I left him was a note. I told him, I am the flower, you are the seed. We walked in the garden, we planted a tree. Don't try to find me, please don't you dare. Just live in my memory, you'll always be there. Keep in mind, this is a popular song these are the lyrics to a popular song in the mid 80s, late 80s. What year was this? And all I want to do, Heart. I got to see what year this came out. 1990. Okay, wow. So in 1990, I was 12 years old. Yeah. So I was a 12-year-old boy listening to this song. And these lyrics are like, how is this even a song that should even be like on the radio? It's crazy. It's basically about a girl who picks up a hitchhiker on the road, and then they go to a motel and make love to each other. And I can't make this up. Oh, and then in the bridge it says, then it happened one day. We came around the same way. Okay, so basically they had never saw each other again, but then one day they saw each other again. And she says, you can imagine his surprise when he saw his own eyes. So that to me tells me that she had a baby that looked like him. And it goes on like, oh, you have a good life, I have a good life. I found somebody I love, blah, 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 but we'll always have that night. Like, what? How is this even a song that people liked? It was just, it was absurd. And actually, it wasn't even like it. I'm a fan of pop music and catchy songs. This wasn't even a catchy song. It was just, it was terrible. So I was blown away when I revisited these lyrics. But there's probably a ton of other songs out there like this where you listen back 25 years later and you go, whoa, like what? How did people like that song? So, anyways, that's the Heart song, All I Want to Do. Which kind of I don't even know how I was listening to that song, Mr. Mac. I was just driving. I don't know if it was on the radio or if it popped up on an iPod or it was just on, and it was a dark night, and I was like, okay. And all these old memories of me being a little kid get stirred up, and like, yeah, songs have a funny way of doing that, right? Where they bring you back to a time and a place. I just wish it was a cool song that did that for me. It was like, why is it this song? Anyways, all right. So that's my revisiting with that song last night. Mr. Mac, if I had to ask you what your top 5 songs from your childhood, could you name them?
No, I was never really a music guy, but I've always liked sort of ballady sort of things, So things that tell a story, I kind of like. I kind of like that sort of stuff. So we never really did a lot of music around my house, and But I was a Beatles fan. I like the Beatles. Billy Joel, that kind of stuff. I like Keith Green. I don't know if you know Keith Green.
No.
Okay.
Keith Green.
Yeah, Keith Green, one of the early Christian musicians, kind of set the stage for people that come after him. Michael W. Smith.
Piano player.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to him.
Guy. Yeah, not a big music guy, but even
Billy,
today, not much of a music guy.
What's that?
Even today, I'm not much of a music guy. Yeah.
So Billy Joel is like one of the greatest storytellers ever through song, right? Like the ability he has to kind of paint a picture of a story is just that's an art. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you shared with me, Mr. Asplund had an announcement that he posted on the Templeton High School YouTube channel this morning. I turned around and posted that on the Morning Buzz Facebook page. And so if you guys had a chance, if you have a chance and you want to see it, you can go to the Morning Buzz Facebook page. It's a post that was posted right before the show started, maybe a half hour before. But
who's up early enough to do that, to post those things that early?
I know, right? Tell me about it. I've got to be honest with you. I am I'm liking the use of visual media by the district office to do that post. I think let me just pull it up here. I won't be able to share the sound, but I just want to give people a visual here. Mr. Asplund, I love it. He's in front of the camera. He's well spoken. He's got his Templeton Eagles in the background, and it's a great announcement. He talks about the fact that I made a couple notes. Two things. He is announcing that they are no longer exploring and hoping and planning for the possibility of full in-person learning next year full time. He is now saying they are committed and they are moving forward, and that is what they will be doing. So they will be full-time, in-person, full-day instruction, 5 days a week for Templeton next year. They are no longer planning for it or hoping for it. It's now a full-blown commitment. And so that's kind of the basis of this announcement. And then the other thing he also said was that they are also building and working on a Templeton Virtual Academy, which is what he called it, which is like a virtual school, right? It's an opportunity for anyone who wants to continue to learn via the internet off campus to be enlisted and enrolled in this Templeton Virtual Academy, which gives them the opportunity to do distance learning still. So cool. And I love that he delivered this message in video. People can watch it. There's no kind of trying to interpret what words mean, and kind of leaves all of that question out of it. So good job on you, Mr. Asplund. I love it. And contrary to what you believe, I think you've got a face for TV. So it worked out well. What's that?
He'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I loved it. So thanks for sharing that with me, Matt.
Sure.
What else is going on? Hey, I'm going on a trip today. I'm going down to AG.
Are you now?
I am doing the stats for the JV girls volleyball. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to go down there. What else is going on?
We've got JV boys tennis. We've got soccer, both girls and guys soccer playing today. And of course, JV girls volleyball you talked about, varsity girls volleyball, boys volleyball. setting off today. I was going to say kicking off today, but that wouldn't be right. So they're
Yeah.
setting off today.
Bumping off.
Bumping off today, hoping to bump off the competition.
Yep.
So that's good. And if you got volleyball today, you got volleyball tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah.
And today the only thing we got home. We got a lot of things going on, but the only thing at home is girls soccer. Everything else is on the road. And then tomorrow we've got volleyball at home, both girls and guys, and we got varsity baseball at home. By the way, did you see that? I guess we talked about it yesterday, but I'm still thinking about the fact that Robbie Lardner struck out, 600 people in the last game.
Yeah.
17 or 18. I heard two different numbers. So he either struck out 17 or 18. Of course, there's only 21 outs in the game. But so even if he did the low number of 17, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I have, speaking of baseball, I have Coach Rob Tompkins on the show today.
I saw that. That's going to be great. Rob, what a great guy. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna get an update from him this week. And I'll ask him about that. Yeah, that's incredible. For anybody, so just to put it in perspective, for those of you who don't play baseball or never did, a batter is up at the bat, right? And you, as a pitcher, you might have 2 to 4 pitches that you use, different types of pitches. But that battle between the pitcher and the hitter is interesting, because psychologically each one of you has to guess what the other one's going to do every single time the ball's in the air. And so, you typically are throwing anywhere from 1 to 7 pitches per batter. And if you're really good as a pitcher, you throw 1 pitch and get the guy to either ground out or pop up. Or if you're a really good hitter and a terrible pitcher, it takes 2 or 3 pitches and you're on base, right? But for Robbie to go and strike out 17 or 18 batters, that's a psychological battle that he has 18 times where he is outsmarting that batter, right? So he is getting that batter to either misguess what pitch is going to be thrown, or he's just overpowering that batter and throwing it so fast that the batter can't swing. I mean, there's so many different. So psychologically, for a pitcher to battle and strike out that many batters in a game is incredible. And
some of those guys struck out 2 or 3 times.
And what's funny about Robbie is, the dude is he's a freak of nature. He can't even tie his own shoes half the time, but we love him. He's an amazing kid, right? And I mean, he's just a master out on that mound. So that's so cool. I love that kid.
I was talking to a couple of the players that will go nameless, but I was talking to a couple of the players yesterday, and they said that, these guys have played with a lot of different players before, and they were saying that Robbie is one of the few players they've ever played with that gets better when he gets emotional. If he gets angry, it's better. So if he makes a mistake or someone gets a hit off him or whatever the case is, he doesn't get down. He just gets angry and more focused and just is a threat on the mound. And, he's hitting well. When he's not on the mound, he's got first base.
And on top of his baseball, if he had been playing this game that doesn't exist called Assassins, he would have been the one that went surfing with my son on Sunday and killed him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's a good thing the game doesn't actually exist.
Exactly. The game does not exist. Yeah. So and then on his off time, these boys still they find time to kind of unwind and go out and explore. And so, yeah, that's cool. Robbie's a great kid. Before we actually lived in the area, we would visit our in-laws, and Noel had the opportunity to go and do some throwing lessons with Robbie's oldest brother, Mac. And So we knew Mac when he was in high school through that, but we didn't even live here. And then when we moved to the area, we got to know Robbie and the family, and they're an awesome family, a huge baseball family, and we're excited to see the future for Mr. Robinson Lardner for sure.
Yeah, you talked about Mac. What a great kid. I mean, and Macer. I mean, all of them just amazing. I remember having Mac in class when I taught at the middle school, and upon his graduation, I remember the principal, Christina Benson, at that point, called him up to the office and said, "Hey, I got a couple baseballs. Will you sign them?" Knowing that in 8th grade, this kid's going to become something special. And Mac is now he's in the farm program for the Cardinals, I believe. And I think he's starting out down in Florida at Jupiter, Florida in Single A, but I'm imagining he's going to be moving up pretty quick through that program. But yeah, you're right. What a great family, great baseball family. What a great family, just all in all.
Yeah, totally.
His dad, I don't know how many, I'm just going to make up the number, but I'm pretty close. I remember when we, pre-COVID, when we had when we had back to school night and open house and all that sort of stuff. I remember seeing Brian and his wife at back to school night. So it must have been 2 years ago or something. And them saying this is their like 23rd year in a row of back to school night. Hadn't missed one through all their kids, through all of the grades. Never missed. So really committed to the school and to their kids, and
incredible. Awesome. And and they're still going strong. And Allison and I are like counting down the days till Noel's out of the house, where we're empty nesters, right? Oh, wow. Yeah. So cool. Okay. So at some point I should get Mac on the show. I think he'd be a great story for people to hear if you don't know who he is.
I'll set that up for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that. Okay. Anything else going on?
KSBY did a nice story on Maddie and Macy Gordon yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. They are, you might enjoy having them on the show too. Freshman and a junior who race cars. Macy, I'm sure she doesn't have a driver's license yet, but she's driving a car down the racetrack at 100 miles an hour.
Right.
So I pity the person who takes her on a driving test, but nonetheless, so they did a feature on her because Doug won the race in Vegas this week. I know you had Doug on the show.
Yeah. Doug was, I think Doug came on the first week we were on.
Yeah. So they won the race this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday. And then KSBY had the whole family on last night, KSBY Sports. You can catch that on our Facebook page. What else is going on? We've got AP testing coming up in a little over a week and a half. That's exciting. 2 weeks maybe from today, 2 weeks from yesterday, which is the same week we have Teacher Appreciation Week. There's just a lot of things going on. And next, let's see, 2 weeks from now, I guess once May starts, we really start kicking off all of the senior type of things.
Hey,
Stars, scholarship night, senior walk, senior slideshow, just a ton, senior breakfast, ton of stuff.
So did you, I'm switching gears. Did you see the, let me see if I can pull it up. Did you see the thing that Joe Farley sent out, the athletics update?
Yeah, spectators.
So now it's up to 3, right? For football?
I don't know. Read it carefully. I know there's if I'm not mistaken, he shared what it is in the red and what it is in the orange.
Right. And then in the body of it, it said,
and you got to be careful of which sport too, because they're different sports as well.
I know. I thought of something last night that would be kind of cool. I don't know if it would work, and I don't know if the parents would go for it. But next Friday, senior night, it's the last home game of the year for football,
and for cheer, and for cheer too,
and for cheer, exactly. And I thought about, if we're still in the same situation that we're in, how cool would it be if every family gave up their seats for 3 students? I know that's asking a lot of parents of these kids who are watching their kids' last game. But I feel like that there could be a way that we could figure out how to get some of these kids in the game and maximize the opportunity for them to witness one last high school football game, right? Because that's really what it is. I don't know. So just an interesting thought, and I know it's asking a lot of the parents and probably would never go over, but yeah, I don't know. Just it's kind of a selfless thing, you know, and maybe people would go for it. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. But I was just thinking, it'd be really cool if these kids had the opportunity to play in front of their peers one last time, and their peers had the opportunity to paint their faces and run up and down the stands when touchdowns were scored and do cheers from the stands with the cheerleaders and show that wingman spirit. Like, I just feel like we got to give them one last opportunity to do that. And I don't know. The only way I could think of doing that is if every single player's parents gave up their seats.
Yeah.
And that's asking a lot, but.
Yeah, it'd be great. I think maybe if we had one more home game, I think it's asking a lot for a parent to give up their last time of seeing their kid play. But
yeah,
maybe it'll happen. Maybe you started it right here. The seed is planted right now.
What if the parents went and did a parking lot party and just sat along the fence?
Parents could all go to parents could walk their kid out before the game starts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they go down to a local restaurant that is airing the game. And after they leave, the students come in.
Oh, yeah. One could dream. That would be cool. Right. And it's easy for me to say because Noel has 2 more years. Right. But right. I can imagine for somebody like Melanie Blankenship who football is their life. And all she looks forward to year round is being able to see her son out there. There's a lot of parents like that. And so, right. That's a tough ask. That's a huge ask to be able to do something like that. But anyways, right. One could dream. All right. We're running late. I got Malcolm. Do you know Malcolm?
I do know Malcolm.
All right, so Malcolm High is this Northern California transplant who just got a wild hair. Him and his wife one day decided to chase his daughter and her family down to the Central Coast. They gave up the life, the beautiful life of the Bay Area, and decided, you know what, let's go be farmers. And so Malcolm
crowded life of the Bay Area.
So Malcolm and his wife picked up and moved down here a few years ago. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2019 in May.
Yeah, so they picked up and said, let's go down to beautiful Templeton and start a life and start a new chapter. And they did that. And Malcolm was finding himself with a lot of time and a passion for capturing things on video and a love for sports and athletics and high school activities. And so he kind of at a whim sent an email to the school and
actually got a hold of Coach Crow.
And 2 years later,
and got into the huddle.
Yeah, and 2 years later, Malcolm is now basically producing almost daily content in the form of video for Templeton High School. So it's really awesome. So I wanted to get him on the show. Mr. Mack, you know him.
I do have to pause and just say how impressed I am with Matt McFarland. Just watching you, you're smooth. You're great.
Wow, look at that. Thanks.
No, you really are. You're every school's dream.
Wow.
But yeah. And you're good with the camera. I videotaped behind you a few times.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Yeah, you bet.
Hey, Mike, I gotta go because we got all of our students back on campus. I think the only school in the county. So gotta go because we got kids in class even now as we speak.
Hey, real quick, how was it yesterday?
I can't even do it. It was great. It was great having everybody back. Yeah. So
the kids told me it was weird because there was a lot of people there.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Malcolm,
right.
I will watch the tape of that Michael put up about you, and excited to hear what you have to say.
And tonight at 5:30, I will be doing the girls' soccer.
Excellent.
Pressured by my lovely wife Sharon. She says, "You got to get some girls out there." I says, "I did them last year."
All right. Hey, and if you get any goals, man, send me the clips.
You know what? I know the routine now.
Okay. Thanks, Malcolm.
Buddy.
All right, Mike. Take care.
See you, Matt. Thanks. All right, that's Matt McFarland. He is the ASB director, ASB advisor, and activities director for Templeton High School. Who is Malcolm said it best. Yeah, he's a school's dream, right? Like that guy it just eats, sleeps, and breathes everything Templeton students, and so we are blessed to have him in our community and in our district because there's nobody that works as hard as him. To give these kids all these opportunities. So
I've just been watching the last 10 minutes, and again, the word is smooth.
He's great, right? Yeah. I actually toyed with the idea of calling this the Matt and Mike show, but he could
play on the Mike and Mike from New York.
Yeah, he could only devote like 15 minutes a day, and the rest of it would just be the Mike show.
If we could go back 4 minutes, I looked straight into his eye when you proposed, the 3 student friends.
Yeah.
And he's already thinking, I don't know, parents.
Oh, I know. That's such a huge ask.
And it would, I tell you, if you think it through, it would be tough to put pressure on any high school kid because they've got 25 friends.
100%. Yeah.
To have to pick 3, it would almost be like having a wedding. Who do you invite? But in a perfect world, everybody would be there.
Well, and in reality, in a wedding situation, the guy doesn't get to invite anybody. It's
that's true.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, let's be honest.
When you're on a budget, you got to cut it down to 103.
Right.
Believe me, I was a wedding video guy for 40 years. I know how that works.
Hey, so just speaking of wedding videos, this outfit that you have on in this picture, this would probably sell on eBay for about $600 right now because every high school.
Wait a minute, are you talking about the outfit that I'm wearing or what's under my right arm?
No, the outfit. Every high school kid in America wants this pink hat and this yellow shirt because that is and. We should take bets. How short are the shorts you're wearing here? Are they really short?
Well, there's a term I could use for it, but it's PG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at you styling in 1989.
Every now and then I do get a picture taken of me, and that was sent to me by somebody. But July of '89. I actually started doing these crazy things in 1972, and then the business that I had, which was Highlight Video. Oh my God!
Oh, there's 72. Is that your wife?
No. The bride wanted that's the bride during.
I just
money dance where people.
I just saw the money on her. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Get a close up. I think that's a counterfeit $1 bill.
It sure looks like it. No.
So I was close friends with both of them.
Okay, got it.
And I think I made $100 there.
Okay.
That's when I got invited to the White House. Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
look at that.
Yeah, it's funny as you're showing me. Oh, good friend of mine, Joe Sciarrino. Anybody in the South Bay knows Joe Sciarrino.
So here's a question, a musician's question.
Yes.
Was this reverse? What do they call it? Exposed, or does he really play guitar left-handed?
Joe Sciarrino's a left-handed guitar player.
Okay, interesting.
Joe is like 4 years younger than me. I'm 71. He's pushing. He's creeping up on me, and he's a legend in the South Bay. And he lives in Oakhurst, and he travels back. Well, with COVID, it's tough, but the Beatles were his inspiration, and he's a left-handed. He's Paul McCartney.
And I've just another thing I noticed. Look at how. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Good-looking guy.
Look at how straight his teeth are. Are those fake?
You know, it's funny that Joe would be getting the biggest kick out of this because he is probably the nicest person I've ever met. He's a man of faith, and he helps people in his community. And
a perfect mustache, a perfect mouth, beautiful teeth. That's great.
My God. And then there's me.
And then there's Malcolm.
Oh, hey, pan down to that Scottish tie. I wore, my mother was Flora Campbell Mackenzie, and at each wedding I would wear a Mackenzie tartan tie.
I love it.
Of my mom. Yeah.
You know what I can appreciate about all of these pictures of you in a tie? You've got that tie clip going every single picture.
Because the last thing you want to do is when you're eating quickly at a reception, and you know this because you've been in bands, you don't want that tie to be slopping into the rubber chicken.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just two ladies that decided they were going to become a couple, and they saw me at a prior wedding, and you know, I have decent social skills, and they said, we want you next year to come to our. It's amazing how different the cameras get.
Yeah, this is 2001, so you're still recording on a tape, right?
Yep. Haven't gone digital yet.
Okay.
There's and yeah. This is me with a light following, and there. Oh wow, this is how I kept up with music. Every Saturday, I was hearing what's.
And you've got a bit of a uniform thing going on with the khakis, the tie, and the jacket.
I'll tell you, as it evolved, I got rid of the jacket.
Okay,
I wore a vest, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to an office anymore. I'm just going to be more casual. And wedding dress got more casual as we.
And
yeah.
When was the last time you did a wedding?
Last time I did a wedding and got paid was probably 3 years ago in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
So I'm just thinking, had you been wearing a Fitbit for these things, I'd be curious to see how many calories you're burning.
Well, it's interesting you're bringing that up because videography was my sideline business. And my main business from the age of 21 till 63 was I was a meter reader for PG&E. Okay. And one day I calculated out that I probably worked like 260 to 270 days a year. And I calculate, there's a digital camera for you. That's a Canon. That's a great camera. And anyway, I walked probably 180,000 miles in my PG&E career. And then, as you pointed out, you're moving around a lot when you're doing the weddings. My style was documentary. Whatever was happening, I was capturing.
That's great.
And it carries forward. Now, the bride actually asked. She wanted a picture with the videographer. Now,
did her husband take the picture? Because
no. Actually, a good friend of mine. I would get referred by the photographers because they would work with these less than stellar video people that would get in the way. And boy, I'm glad I have you. Oh, that's taken in the living room of our 1912 Craftsman bungalow that we lived in for 11 years.
Oh, wow. And this was the one across the street from the house you bought?
Yeah. God, good memory.
Yeah.
We were living in a little duplex, and lightning struck. And after a 30-minute conversation with the owner.
Oh, wow. Remember these?
You're looking at the stereo equipment, aren't you?
Remember the cable box? Those cable boxes right there?
I feel like I'm in a Hitchcock movie right now, and you just solve the mystery.
Oh, yeah. I remember when those cable boxes came out, MTV was like, you would just click on it till you got to MTV. Oh, yeah. Okay, and here you are in 74.
Now we're going back. This was Washington, D.C. I'm filming. That's a movie camera.
Mm-hmm. That's like a 16
my really
millimeter.
Close friend's son got married, and he was in West Point. So we got to go to the White House, and yeah, there I am. You position yourself there so you get the bride coming down the aisle, and then reposition accordingly. Yeah, 74. We're talking almost 50 years there.
Oh wow, it's so cool.
It's funny you're bringing that one up because there's a school. It's closed now, but it was a really popular school in the Bay Area where we lived for 50 years. It was Campbell High.
Campbell High, yep.
Campbell High, and then that same Joe Chirino, the handsome guy with the great teeth, he would perform every Monday night, and I'd pay $1 to go see him. And the bouncer, this big, thick football player, he took my driver's license away because he said, "You got a fake ID. You put your school down for your name, Malcolm Campbell Hawk." So that took 45 minutes to
Oh my gosh.
wiggle my way out. So yeah, it was, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
now you know way more than you needed to know about me.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is I've got a baseball meeting here with Rob Tompkins coming on at
Hey,
8
jump
o'clock.
out
So,
anytime.
so we'll buzz him in a minute. But Malcolm, so in a nutshell, why do you do what you do? Like, why do you devote so much time to doing this? Because I and answer that after I tell you what the result of what you do is. The
Go ahead.
result is you have people that are watching something made by somebody that they probably don't really know, that brings out emotion, right? The video that you did, the result of the video that you put out from Friday night's game, and I'll play that today. It's called "You'll Never Walk Alone." But
Right.
the emotion that brought out in so many people, just I mean, is worth its weight in gold. And I don't
Your
know,
wife made a comment.
and I
Allison
don't
made
know
a
if that's
comment.
why you do what you do, but why do you do that? Why do you do these things?
I think there's an inherent part of everybody that likes to tell a story. And I know all my stories. So I like telling the story. And when I arrived 2 years ago, I knew there was a story. It was, you can go home again. You know, Coach Crow, after being gone for 20 years, he returned and he was nervous. And I had him commenting about how he lit the flame again. You know, the players lit that flame. But if there was a seminal moment, it was in 1968. We've all seen the movie The Graduate, and I went to see it when I was a freshman in college. Walked out of that movie theater and thought to myself, I just saw something brilliant. Music that Simon and Garfunkel had written before was laid over the film, and it was a beautiful film directed by Mike Nichols. And I said, if I could do anything in life, I want to be able to create stuff like that. And of course, I'm not Spielberg, but I do tell good stories.
Yeah.
Mike Brendler, the photographer, and I know you're under the gun, he made a comment. He says, Malcolm, I did have a tear while watching that. And my comment was, making adults cry since 1972. When I did a wedding, I knew the mom and the dad,
Yeah.
they were paying me the check, and I went right to the heartstrings, but no. Hey, by the way, blessing to be here in town. Great people, great stories,
Yeah.
and everybody's got a story.
Well, yeah, we certainly are very thankful for you and the amount of time and effort that you put into capturing these the stories and retelling them kind of through your lens is a special gift that you're sharing with us. So thank you.
And I'll pause you on that. You have a special gift, my friend.
Oh gosh.
You have a way of juggling.
No, I just like
No,
attention.
listen, you are really good. I've watched you and I've seen you set up the huddle, and I've talked to you about stuff, and I know a little bit about your background, with radio and the band. You're pretty amazing.
Well, I have fun, and if you can't have fun, then what's it all for, right?
True.
So, all right, Malcolm, let's make this a weekly check-in. I
Sounds
appreciate.
good.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to get Rob Tompkins in here. These baseball coaches, they're a different breed. It's like, they're on the clock, and if you're not fitting into the schedule, you're done. And then they're
So
on.
you got a baseball coach coming up?
Yeah, I got Rob Tompkins. Have you been out to a baseball game yet?
No, but I'm giving you the signal.
Oh, now he's
See,
giving me
he's
the
already
signals.
he's
There
already
we
catching
go.
on.
Yeah, exactly. And
Pleasure to meet you through this medium.
yeah, and did you notice the Giants banners that he's got in the background?
Giants, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, exactly. 3.
Yeah, 3. Hey, I went to see Willie Mays in 1961. That's how
Wow.
far back I go at Candlestick.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Malcolm.
Hey, sounds good. You take care.
See ya. Thanks, sir.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Malcolm High, the videographer that captures all these cool stories and retells them. And we are thankful for everything he does. Coach Tompkins, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so Robbie Lardner, the game, the story is he had 18 Ks on Saturday. Is that correct?
I tell you, that kid is pitching at a new level this year. And yeah, he pitched a complete game on Saturday and ended up with 18 strikeouts and unbelievable performance. He threw the ball probably harder and better, probably the last 2 innings than he did the whole entire game. It was awesome to watch.
He was amped up. Wow.
Oh, he was.
So what pitches does he throw?
Well, he's got a fastball, he's got a slider, he's got a curveball, he's got a changeup. He mixes it all up, and he throws them all very well.
His fastball, is it 2-seam or 4-seam?
He's got both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he can dial in both pitches.
Okay. Wow. So he was just hitting all his spots. He was on.
Yeah. Him and JB were definitely on a roll. They figured out a rhythm and kept the batters off balance, and yeah, it was amazing.
That's so cool. And as a coach, for you to be a part of a game like that when your pitcher is just firing on all cylinders, that's got to be fun.
It's nice to just sit back and watch the whole thing happen in front of you. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, as a pitcher, there's nothing worse than watching your coach walk out to the mound. And like the less you have to do that, the better like everybody's psyche is, right?
Yeah, this year I haven't had to make too many mound visits this year. I think our pitchers are dialed in this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times if I go out there, it's more of a strategy thing,
Sure.
and giving our pitchers a break when I think that, the umpires might be squeezing them. They're getting frustrated. And it's just to go out there and encourage the kids that, they know when it's time. I mean,
Yeah.
the momentum of the game or just when you could tell that they're fatigued and tired, but they haven't really reached that point this year. I will say that between Robbie and Robbie Lardner and Ryan Dominguez, even Gavin Platt, and some of the other pitchers, I really haven't had to go out there and talk to them or pull them. Like I said, we'll go out there, we'll talk strategy. We got runners on base. I'll bring the infield in. We'll describe what we want to do, where we want to pitch them, and just and set up a defense to counter their offense, basically.
Mm-hmm. Now, what position did you play growing up?
I was a shortstop by trade and pitcher, and then as I got into high school, I was told I couldn't play infield and pitch at the same time, so I turned into an outfielder and pitcher throughout high school.
And you're right-handed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in North Salinas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went to North Salinas High and graduated in '84. Played my ball up there.
And did you play in college at the next level or?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, okay. And then your career, you were in law enforcement. You're retired now.
Yeah, I worked at the California Men's Colony for 28 years.
Oh, gosh.
Retired as a correctional lieutenant back in 2017.
Wow. And then you're obviously, I see you at the fair. You're working security. From time to time.
They asked me to come up and work the Heritage Foundation, and I couldn't tell them no.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Great environment.
Well, yeah, no, and that's a community. Granted, you get paid, but it's really a community service that you're doing because nobody likes to deal with that many drunk people that think they're entitled to all of these things, right?
Yeah, it's an every night thing, but I tell you, the crew, the board of the Heritage, those are great people, along with yourself, and easy to work with. And what I like is you guys give us a little bit of authority to have a little say so on who's ready to go because they've had too much, and who's ready to go because their behavior is just not meant to be up there. So no, I appreciate being able to work up there and being around some really nice people.
Yeah, and it's weird, but I kind of miss it, right? It's been too long.
Yes.
So yeah, one day we'll get back there. I know we will. So,
I hope so.
All right, so let's talk about what we got going on this week, baseball wise.
This week we got Atascadero for 3 games. Wednesday we host them at home, so tomorrow, and
Okay.
then Saturday we'll travel to Atascadero for a doubleheader.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do they look? What's their squad look like this year?
Well, I can tell you they're off to a slow start, but that doesn't change our focus and our drive and what we have our task at hand. It's just they're a Division III opponent, and I can tell you that Joey Davis and Jay Salas, they're great coaches over there in Tascadero. They made it to the final championship game in 2019, so I've seen them work their magic with the slow start, and so we treat every opponent as if they're number one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we just have to prepare our team, and we hope for the best. We're aggressive, and we go out and we make things happen, and we hope that we get ahead early so we can maybe play some other reserves as well.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, and really any given day, you never know what you're going to get with a human being, right? With what's going on between these two.
Baseball's a funny game. On paper you could be a dominating team, but if you don't go out there and you don't play and you don't have your A game, it could turn into a really close game. And because, like you said, the human element of competition, anything can happen in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited because it's becoming more and more like baseball weather. We're getting into the 80s and the sun's shining. We have a little bit of wind kind of in the afternoons during the springtime. Does that help us typically in our home field?
Well, we do have a jet stream that carries out to right center field. But the last couple of days has been pretty warm. It's been about in the high 70s, almost 80 the last couple of days out of practice, and we just got to make sure our kids stay hydrated. But yeah, it's obviously when it's warmer, the ball carries a little bit farther, and yeah.
Yeah.
But I like our chances in our park. It's really a pitcher's park. It's pretty wide open.
And who's been hot behind the plate lately?
Batting wise?
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, Merrick Hall, he's been hot all year. Robbie Larners found a new level over the last couple games. Kiko Barroso, he's hitting the ball well. Gavin Tabor's hitting the ball well. So and then you've got JB Kirschenstein and Blake. They're all these kids are all. We're starting to hit the stride with the bats, which is really pleasant to see.
And you mentioned Gavin Tabor. Gavin just got the opportunity to do a signing day, right, with the college that he's going to go to.
Yes, yeah, Providence Christian College. He signed last Wednesday.
Awesome. And that was when the coach came out to the field after a game.
Yeah, after our first game against Slow, they brought out the table. Joe Farley brought out the signing table, and it was awesome. Gavin's worked so hard over the last couple of years, especially this off season, and has changed his demeanor, and just everything has just clicked this year. The kid's hitting the well. He's always fielded well, but he's hitting on a whole different level this year, and it's really nice to see all the hard work that he's put in over the last 2 off seasons, and it's finally paid off for him. So yeah, very proud of him.
Yeah, and he's just such a humble, good kid. He's at every single student activity. He's always the first one to raise his hand to volunteer to help. Yeah, we've really enjoyed getting to know him as a student in the same grade as my daughter. He is a super respectful kid, and it's exciting to see him be able to go and take his passion to the next level. That's fun. So,
oh, absolutely. And if I could credit any of that, his parents are wonderful people.
Absolutely.
His dad drives him and has high expectations for him, and they spend countless thousands and thousands of hours in the batting cages, and you could tell it's paid off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're definitely a baseball family, and we're lucky that they transplanted here from Southern California a few years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to have them, and JR does a lot of hitting stuff with the with all the kids, even at the lower levels, and he's involved, and he's a really good guy too. He's got that passion. All he wants to do is make the kids better. Not really about making money or anything like that for him. It's just he just has a passion to drive and have these kids in a small little community be competitive at when we start facing some of these big level programs.
Yeah, and in talking about the people that volunteer countless hours, you sent me a note after last week, just making sure that I made sure that people were aware of all of the other stuff that happens behind the scenes with the group that is maintaining and manicuring the field. Randy Botts and the MOT crew. You wanted me to make sure that we sent them a shout out, and I did. But if you could kind of speak to the comment that you left about how that field, the condition that it's in.
Sure. Actually, I'd like to speak about a few things, if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
Randy Botts, he's the new MOT supervisor, and he came out with Joe Farley and myself. We walked the field. We talked about the conditions of the field, things that we could do to improve, especially the infield. The infield has probably looked the best it's ever looked in 3 years. I can tell you when I took over in 2019 that the field it's beautiful when you drive up to it, but it wasn't necessarily baseball shape. But I can tell you that this year they've taken the bull by the horn. They get out there every day. They water. They mow when they're supposed to. They mow the day before the game. They've got the infield down to where we've asked them to mow it, so it could be an actual infield. And I can tell you that, like I said, the field looks beautiful. And there's our new dugout rails. You post that back up there. I can speak about that. I can tell you that Tony Dominguez and myself and his crew, we installed those last Monday and Tuesday. Where that all started was by a guy by the name of Paul Winkler. He came in and he asked us what we needed for the program and what we would like to have, and I told him, I said, I'd like to have some real dugouts. I said, most all the other teams that we face, we go to their baseball, and maybe the field's not the greatest, but their dugouts are really pretty sharp. And this year we had this opportunity. Thanks to Paul. So we put his donation to good work, and Norelli Welding, they welded all the pipe together and created our dugout rails. They had them delivered, and those things were very heavy. So we Norelli got a crane for us, so we had them heist over the dugouts, and then over on the visitors dugout, we had to take that thing over the flagpole. So it was pretty amazing sight to see. And then we were able to get our dugout screens done by Sullivan Screens, and it turned out really nice. So I can't be more thankful to Paul and Norelli Welding for providing that product so beautiful. And then I can tell you that we've done some work on our mound with the donation that Paul gave us. Nutrients gave us a lot of clay for our mound at cost. And then Crit's Excavating and Trucking, they also gave us some DG to help build our mound. And it's amazing just the transformation from the last 2 years to this year, and it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I've got to think, not that we're in the recruiting business in a high school, but I've got to think that people, this kind of makes people, when they see this type of investment in facilities like that, you got to think, wow, this is a school that I would be proud of playing for, and I would want to play on that field. I mean, it could only help us, right?
Absolutely. I can tell you that this group of seniors, very special in my heart. They've been with me since they've been sophomores, and this was something that we definitely wanted to get done this year so they could enjoy it. But not only this year, but for years to come. Like you said, you want kids to come out and see just the atmosphere. We're not done yet. We still have senior banners that are going to be posted up. We have a team picture that's going to be probably an 8 foot by 20 foot team picture that's going to be put on the backstop. And when you drive up to the park, we want to have a real big baseball feel to it. We want not only our fans, but the visitors that come out and see us. I just want, when everybody walks up to our park, I just want them to go, wow, this
Yeah.
is really nice.
Absolutely.
And I can't thank Joe Farley and Randy Botts and Paul Winkler, Tony Dominguez, Norelli Welding for making all this possible. Because if it wasn't for them, none of this stuff would have happened. So I really appreciate all their efforts.
Yeah, it's really cool to see people from the community come out to support like that. In regards to financing some of these projects outside of the community members who are contributing, is there like a process that you have to go through? Do you go to the boosters and say, this is what we want to do and this is what we need? Or is there like a fund in the general account that you can pull from? How does that work?
We have our baseball fund, but usually what happens is the stuff that we buy each year, year in and year out, for whether it be baseballs, mats, tees, any type of equipment for the next following year, gets funded by the boosters at the end of the year. I put a wish list of things together that will help us go on for the next following year. But if there's big projects and stuff like that, sometimes we have to fundraise. I'm actually in the works of fundraising some apparel, some baseball apparel. I just got to go through the school and make sure we do everything legit and everything, and all the numbers are there, and we don't want to get caught into anything that we're not doing it correctly. So these are things that will help us fundraise, put money back in the program. Whether it's a pitching machine, a pitching mat, anything that we could do to, whether it's windscreens for the fences, anything to dress up our park. It costs money, but it could be fundraised, and the money can be raised, or we can ask boosters for a specific thing, and then we can fundraise for the rest. So it's kind of a variety of both.
Sure. Well, that's cool. And if people want to donate just to the general fund for baseball, is there a website, or what's the best way to do that?
I think the best way to do it would be contact Sheila Delisle through you can either do it on the website or go into the school, and I think they could just make a donation to the baseball fund or the general fund. If they wanted to go strictly to baseball, they have to notify. I think they would have to let Sheila know that they want this to go towards the baseball fund, and then the money would go towards our account.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it works. So that's kind of what we're doing, that we plan on doing now. Once we get our tire all approved and ready to sell. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. All right. Who do you have on the mound? Are you knowing who you got on the mound next?
I think we've had a rotation that's worked out pretty well. Usually Ryan starts on Wednesdays.
Okay.
And then we're looking at probably Robbie on a Saturday, and then it's kind of up in the air on a Sunday game. But I'm thinking, depending on how everything works out, there's a possibility of either Merrick Hall, Gavin Platt, Tico, or even Will starting that third game. So
nice.
As a coaching staff, we haven't yet decided, but for sure the first two games will be Ryan, and then the second game will be Robbie.
Well, it's good to have options for sure. One last question that just popped up in my head, and then I'll let you go. What was the pitch count Robbie had with those 18 Ks in that full game?
99.
99 pitches.
Yeah, he was just under 100. He had 8. It was funny because we were just talking about it at the bottom of the sixth inning when he had finished. Coaches, we looked at each other, had to keep on going over to scorekeeper, and I asked him, how many strikeouts does Robbie have? And at that time, he had 15, and we were like, wow, 15, that's huge. And he just, like I said, in dominated fashion, he just got stronger at the end. And then he was sitting around about, I don't know, 80 some pitches, and I was thinking, man, we're up to 8-2. Maybe I should save his arm. So I usually ask Robbie, how do you feel? And of course, pitchers are always going to tell you they're fine when they're not. But yeah, I can tell you, there's times when, a lot of times I just look in their eyes, and I could tell whether they're dialed in or not. And he was dialed in, and he was still on their 100. And I knew that he was going to pitch. He wasn't going to throw a bullpen until probably tomorrow, anyways.
Yeah.
So we let him go, and then as it worked out, he struck out the side. Struck out, so he ended up with 18 strikeouts. So pretty awesome to see.
Incredible. So cool. Well, congratulations, Coach, on the continued success, and good luck this week. And we'll check in with you hopefully next week.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us.
All right. See you, Coach.
All right. Take care.
All right. That's Coach Rob Tompkins, varsity baseball, Templeton High School. Hey, I didn't forget about you. Just I want to throw that out there. I did not forget about you, Anthony. I just I got caught on a tangent. We were talking videography, and then videography went straight into baseball. And so my apologies. I didn't mean to leave you out in the cold.
No worries. It gave me more time to do some more prepping, so it's all good.
Oh, cool. All right. So what do you got? We got 4 minutes, and then we're going to check in with our high school principal, Mr. Josh Aston. Any important news and updates happening in and around the county?
Nope, nothing going on. CHP is all clear. PD is all clear. And every agency area is pretty much all clear. Nothing really going on.
All righty. Well, then we'll check back with you at the top of the hour, the end of the show, 8:55-ish, and we'll get another update from you. We got a little bit of a delay going on, so I'll go ahead and let you go right now, and then we'll check back. Thanks, Anthony. All right, that's Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. For some reason, we got a little delay on his end. I don't know if it's me or him, but it's 8:27 right now. In case you're just joining us, today's the 20th of April, Tuesday, the 20th of April. This is the Morning Buzz, and my name is Mike Brady. I am the host of this show, and this show is really for the community. It's a forum, a platform for us to spread news, information, a sense of community and positivity. And so hopefully I'm doing that with every show that we bring you on a daily basis. Looks like it's going to get up to about 70 degrees today in Templeton, which I'm not believing. I think it's going to be a little warmer than that, but it's currently about 50 degrees outside. And we've got winds out of the north at 5 miles an hour, which is funny. I'm really starting to believe this whole theory about if you want the weather to be one way, make sure that you announce it's going to be another way. And so yesterday, literally, Apple Weather said 0 miles per hour all day winds. And yesterday afternoon might have been the windiest I've seen it in, I don't know, a month. It was just blowing all over the place. And so who knows? So I figured, why even give the weather updates at this point? It really doesn't matter. But all right, it's Tuesday, April 20th, and we are in day 2 of the high schoolers being back into a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday combined cohorts schedule, where all of the student body who wants to be on campus is on campus at one time. And so what an amazing kind of a feat that we had our administration accomplish, and getting these kids back to school. And so the feedback I got from my kids yesterday was Abby came home and said, wow, it was really strange. It felt like there were so many people on campus, but it was really great. And so, we're looking at March 13th of 2020 was the last time the entire student body was on campus together before yesterday. And so, that's over a full year. And, when you're 17, 18, 15 years old, a full year is a lot of your life, right? And so they've experienced a lot of life in a different kind of arrangement in the last year. And so going back to somewhat of a normal, typical high school life yesterday was a bit of a new experience and a culture shock for them. So, but all positive. And so very excited. And one of the guys that obviously is partially responsible for helping this thing come to fruition is Mr. Josh Aston, the principal, who is now in his second day of his, well, it's not even, you haven't even had one full year of regular instruction. This is like part 2 of the first year for you, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I had one student say to me yesterday, she said, it's like our first day for the third time this year.
Right.
Said, yeah, it is kind of like your first day for the third time this year. Well, and I will say, back to your comment, partially responsible, unless this all goes bad, and then it's Aaron Asplund, superintendent of the district. He was the one that responsible.
Totally. And he'll go, oh no, it was Andy. That was all Andy.
Yeah.
Hey, so I did joke around with Mr. Mack yesterday. I said, okay, so you got the red carpet ready, right? You're gonna have and he's like, no, we're not doing the big celebration. I was giving him a hard time about it, like, come on, we got to do another first day of school. But so yeah, how was it yesterday? Was it manageable?
Yeah, it went a lot smoother than we anticipated. We were really concerned about having a big logjam of students coming through and doing the temperature screening, but actually, we brought in a couple extra people with handheld thermometers, and after yesterday, we realized, we don't really need that. Kids come trickling in, at various times up until school starts. So it went really well. The one thing I will say is I'm going to put this out there for all the listeners, parents, anybody. Class starts at 8. So we've had, an abnormally large amount of kids coming in after 8 o'clock, and class is already going. So, plan for 7:55. That's when the first bell rings, and then 8 o'clock. So that's my plug for being on time.
I guess what you're implying is there was a lot of kids that pulled up at 8 o'clock.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'll just be direct. Yes. There were a lot of kids that pulled up at 8 o'clock. Yep.
Okay. Well, so yeah, kids like my son has 0 period. And I don't even know, what time does 0 period get out? Is it 7:30?
I think, they get done 7:30, and generally the kids that are in 0 period, they shower, they get cleaned up here at school, and then have a little bit of leeway to get to school on time.
And do they leave campus or they go to their cars and then come back in and do the temperature check-ins?
Most of them do. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So school starts at 8 o'clock, people. Let's make sure we're, all right. Do you have any numbers, like the number of people that are choosing to stay in distance learning? Is it like 10% or 5% or?
So we have total, I can tell you that we have right around 700 total students.
Okay.
I want to say about 175, give or take. A few have opted to stay full distance learning. So, just to kind of give you an idea there.
Like
so
12 or 14% or something.
25%.
20. Oh, it's that high. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I'm doing my math correctly, I'm a social studies teacher.
Oh no. You're right. You said 700. I was thinking 900.
Yeah.
Okay. So 25%. And because of that number being as high as it is, I would imagine that's kind of playing into the decision that Mr. Asplund spoke about of putting this initiative together to launch a Templeton Virtual Academy next year. And that's kind of exciting, right? Because if you think about it, I don't want to say it's the wave of the future, but it is introducing an element of moving forward. Like, in 2021, the technology that we have available to us, it only makes sense to have a virtual type learning atmosphere available. Which is great. And people's health and health concerns play into that, but ultimately too, it might just be better learning situation for some students too, which is
absolutely
great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of districts across the state and across the country that have embraced this. I had the chance a few years ago before I came here to Templeton, I went to tour a school district in New Mexico, the Rio Rancho schools in New Mexico, and it's a suburb of Albuquerque, and they had probably the most robust virtual academy that I've ever seen. I want to say they had somewhere in the tune of like 500-600 students participating in that, and it was really great. I talked to a couple of the kids when I went, because they have to come on to the virtual school, on campus to do their tests, get them proctored. They had a certain level of, you have to be in person, a certain amount of time they had to be in person, working groups, check in with their teacher type of thing. But I talked to a couple of kids, and one of them I remember it really stood out to me. He said, "I just don't fit in at school. Like, I'm not, a traditional school. I just don't fit in, and I find like the people here, I connect more with the people here, and it just is a better fit for me." And there's students out there that's what, instead of us trying to force a square peg into a round hole, of the traditional brick and mortar schools, it's great to have that option for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a result of our society becoming more conscious and educated about different learning, I guess, ways, or I don't know what that is attributed to, but it is good that we are continuing to explore these alternative methods to kind of reach these kids, right? I was a terrible in-class student. I had one teacher, and I was, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I was an intelligent kid. I had an advanced English class, and the teacher made me literally sit in the back of the class facing the back wall because I was such a distraction to the other kids.
No way. I don't buy that.
Exactly. No, but, and I had my econ teacher, my senior year, Mr. Miller, Gene Miller, who's now a superintendent up in King City. He actually, after the first week of the class, took me and another student and said, "Okay, you guys cannot be in the class. You are a distraction. Here's your assignment for the semester, and you can go do whatever you want to do in the library to prepare for the final and do all this, but don't come back here, and I'll check in with you on a weekly basis." And that was my dream come true, because it just allowed me to control my own time and my own pace of learning. And, so now 2021, we're giving these students different types of opportunities to learn, that, like you said, is not, trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, or is it round peg in a square hole?
I never can remember. So hopefully I said it correctly. Yeah.
Oh, no. So it's exciting. And it's a fine line too, because, the flip side of that is, when I was a freshman in college, I had a math class that was all online, and my buddy would take my finals for me. It was just like, that's the flip side, because and it wasn't that I didn't know the work. It was, I knew that he could get it done faster than me, and we had stuff to do that day. Yeah. Right. So it's like, it's that fine line of making sure that we're giving these kids the opportunity to learn, but also controlling their environment as much as possible, so that they are doing the right thing and having that that guidance. And so, when I saw Aaron's announcement about that Templeton Virtual Academy, my wheels were turning, because it is such a cool concept moving forward outside of a pandemic environment, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there are some silver linings from everything that we've had to go through over the past year plus, and that is that we've found different ways to learn, and kids have found different ways to learn, and they figured out what works for them. Teachers have figured out what works for them, and how to reach those students. And so, that overall, I'd say it hasn't been a great experience, but there are definitely good things that we've been able to pull out of the past year.
Hey, from a technology standpoint, can you speak to what you think one of the biggest challenges or opportunities that we have as a high school? What were the biggest things from this last year where you went, "Oh my gosh, we've got to do X, Y, Z"?
Well, so one thing, to our district's credit, like I think we our infrastructure, you know, as far as the network goes and having the Wi-Fi capabilities and all of that, we had that in place. We were a little behind, you know, in the deployment of getting devices in the hands of kids. You know, there's many districts across the country that have moved to make sure that every student has a device, whether that's an iPad or a Chromebook or a laptop or whatever. You know, and we had gone more towards the have the devices in the classrooms for the kids to use over and over again. Well, when you want to stop surface transmission of germs, that doesn't necessarily work. And so I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges for us. And I can't speak for the tech department, but I know it was a challenge for them to make sure that all the students that needed a device had a Chromebook in their hands, had an iPad, and getting those ordered, getting those set up, and getting those put out. We had, you know, a lot to begin with. And so we started to just redistribute devices, but we had to order a few more, well, a lot more. And so that was definitely a challenge, I think. And then one of the things too, you know, and the teachers will tell you this, and they are absolutely spot on with that, making sure that there's a consistent platform that everybody's trained on that. You know, sure. Google Classroom, we're trying to use Google Classroom, and we're trying to be consistent with that. Everybody's at varying degrees of mastery of Google Classroom, you know, and competency in Google Classroom. So that is another thing that was a challenge for us, making sure that people knew how to use it. And we, you know, we went and we kind of relied on the expertise of the people in the district, and they did screencastifies and online training during our professional development. We had live training with these individuals here at the district that are really good at different technologies, whether that be Zoom or Google Classroom or whatever. And so that has been a challenge, you know, as far as technology goes. But now I think we've built up our infrastructure that we're able to support something like that, like a virtual academy moving forward. I think we've got what we need to get going. So yeah, overall, like I said before, there's definitely positives that come out of challenges.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You need to get
no. I'm just trying to figure out how to silence it.
A landline.
I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just hung up on whoever it was. So
nice.
So if anybody's listening that was calling me, I apologize.
It was probably Aaron going, "Don't talk about the." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, maybe.
So this is probably a too in the weeds question to talk about, but it's just how my mind works. I'm just thinking about it. So Google, the Google platform has a meetings option where it's kind of like Zoom. Do you know why you guys are using Zoom versus that Google Meetings?
Well, so one of the things, my understanding, and I just am familiar with Zoom, but the Zoom has a couple more options that are a little bit more user friendly to utilize, and it's what we kind of started doing last year. Sure. And we wanted to keep things as familiar as possible, and so that's why we stuck with Zoom.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. You know, it's funny when you start to mix technology into your daily life, you get all of these different, like I'm on an iPhone, but I use Gmail, and then I have the Gmail app on my iPhone, but then I've integrated it into my iCloud calendar. And it's like, you're doing this cross-pollination of all these platforms. And pretty soon, before you know it, you're like, wait, I thought I had that contact saved in my contacts. Oh, wait, my contacts are only my iCloud, not my Gmail. And it's
right, exactly.
It gets super confusing.
And everybody has their preference as to what they use. And that's what I think it just kind of boiled down to. Zoom was just kind of the preference of what collectively our staff liked. You know, and before coming to Templeton, I was with a district that everything was Apple. You know, all the teachers had MacBooks, iPads. Everything was Apple. And so then I come here and everything is, you know, our PCs, and just a transition. You know, I had to relearn using PCs again, because I had gotten so accustomed to, you know, over the course of 6-7 years, got accustomed to using Apple products. So right.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I have a Google phone because it's great for video, and actually the video that's shooting me right now is on that Google phone.
Mhm.
But yeah, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yep.
All right. So anything happening right now that you want to get out in terms of news and information for the school itself? I know that we've got some sports guidance that's changed over the last 24 hours. Today is the announcement of a possible tier shift.
Right.
I don't know if you want to speak to any of that.
Yeah, sure. So we are, the state did change spectators for indoor sports. They haven't changed the parameters or the guidelines for outdoor sports. So we can, indoor sports right now in the red, we can allow 10% capacity into our gym. And so I believe Joe put that out that, we'll allow 10%. That's roughly about two people per athlete, 2 family members per athlete. If we go into the orange, fingers crossed, that'll up to, I believe, 15% of capacity. So that'll increase the amount of people that can come per athlete. So that's exciting, that our indoor sports are gonna have a little bit of crowd there to cheer them on. So with that, I mean, the one thing that we're pretty excited about, and I will be in the process of getting more detailed plans out to everybody, is the fact that we're going to be able to do our graduation at Volunteer Stadium on June 10th. We're going to do it the day where right now, the way the state has it laid out in the red tier, we can allow 20% of our capacity for a graduation ceremony. If we're in the orange tier, that goes up to 33% capacity. And so I had a chance to meet with the senior parent group last week, as well as some of the senior kids. And, that's, if we're in the red, that's at least 4 people per graduate that we can allow into the stadium. So that's exciting. Wow. So we know that that's only going to be more if we're in the orange. Yeah. And that was just Josh Aston's out there with a tape measure, measuring the field and the bleachers and everything. So we went and we reserved a bunch of chairs, rented a bunch of chairs, so we can not only put graduates on the field, but we can put more family members, more spectators on the field as well. So that could go up, we could increase based on when we start arranging the chairs and figuring stuff out there too. So
your thought is we will allow families in the stands as well as additional seating on the field?
Yeah. So the plan is to adjust the way the setup, the graduation setup is on the field. In the past, we haven't utilized the visiting side bleachers, but if we push the stage to the north end zone, then we can utilize both sides of the bleachers, visiting and home side as well. And then if we put graduates in front of the stage and then spectators behind, and then have a video board, the plan is to have a video board too, so everybody can see everything really well.
So so your stage is basically under the goalpost, so to speak, right by the softball field.
Correct.
Facing south.
Yep.
You've got spectators on both sides, students in the front, and then more spectators along the back.
Yep.
That's a cool setup. Yeah, that, and then depending on time of day, nobody wants to look into the sun. So I guess it kind of works out, right?
It helps. So it'll be kind of, the folks in the stands will kind of get the sun at the side of their face, just like at a football game, right, for a little bit. Yeah. But overall, I think it'll be pretty good.
That's cool. Well, I certainly was a big fan of the audible that was called to do last year's celebration. That was cool. If there's going to be a one-off type celebration like that, I think you guys hit a home run with it. And then this year, if we're able to get physically out into the stands in some type of capacity, then that sounds like a cool plan. I think that'll be great. And who knows, right? I mean, if we do shift into the orange, and then I guess at some point you've got to make a decision and say, this is the plan. This is what we're doing. And so that's not a bad plan to have at this point, right?
Right. I mean, if we set a baseline lower, like planning for red, we can always add more. Like that's kind of how we've approached it is, we can always adjust and get more people in if needs be, if we're allowed to, which is fully what we plan on doing. We want to make sure that as many people get in there as possible.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, well, exciting. And any other news in regards to like seniors? Are there any activities or things that we're needing to do? Just also testing. Talk about that when you get a
Yeah,
minute.
so testing will start next week. You know, that's and Miss Hendrickson has got that under control, and that's mostly that affects the juniors. You know, the juniors are the ones that take the standardized tests. But for seniors, yeah, we're working. We've got some locations reserved for scholarship night. We want to do in-person scholarship night. We want to do in-person evening for the stars. We may have to push that outside onto the stadium, but hey, that's okay. We'll do it. You know, I thought we had a really cool virtual evening for the stars and virtual scholarship night last year, but if we can get the kids here and families here to see them receive their awards, that's even better. So those are on the calendar. I don't have that right in front of me, but we'll be pushing that out in the next few weeks, you know, as far as dates go and locations. And then we're trying to work out a grad walk for that last week too, for the graduates, you know, where they go over to TMS and TES. Last year we were trying to figure out how to get our graduates up to VES as well, because VES always kind of gets left out on all the fun stuff. And we had a plan in place, but it requires getting graduates on buses and taking them up there. And so I don't know if we're going to be able to accommodate that this year. Hopefully next year we'll be able to integrate that and get them up there to do a walkthrough.
I think what we need to do is make the graduates walk from the high school to VES.
It's like only a mile and a half, right? Yeah, or
just like a pilgrimage. Like get them. By the time they get there, they're sweaty and tired.
And then they got to walk back.
And then they got to walk back, and they got to do it all within 50 minutes. Yeah,
exactly. That's right.
That's awesome. All right, there was one other thing I was going to ask you. Oh, I know what it was. So Aaron Asplund kind of upped the game with his video update this morning. I don't know if the pressure's on now. Josh Aston's touch points are going to be video from here on out.
You know, it might actually be easier because I type them up every week. It might just be easier to do that.
I'm a fan. I love it.
Well, I don't know. And I worry though that, you know, with the email, we have a transcript. I don't want to do both. That's the thing. I don't want to do both, but
right.
Yeah, I might try it next week. We'll see what happens.
No, I think that'd be great. Yeah, no pressure, but you know.
Okay, yeah, it's not hard to do. In fact, probably be easier.
No, it's fun. What I like about it is it kind of leaves zero room for interpretation, right? It's your voice inflection is where it needs to be. You're emphasizing words that need to be emphasized, and it's not leaving me any room to kind of interpret what these words on this paper mean or on this phone mean, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of eliminates some of those questions. But you know, it doesn't hurt to do both, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a go and I'll see what happens. I'm all for it. I don't mind doing videos.
That's cool. And then at some point, I'd love to get the vice principal on. We've yet to meet her and introduce her to the community. So I know that she's kind of been thrown into the mix as like this person that nobody's really come into a lot of contact with since she's been in her role. So I'd love to be able to extend an opportunity for her to come on as well.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to give up my slot next week for her, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah, she's awesome, and it'd be great to have her on the show.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll send out an email and copy you on it so that we can loop her in for sure.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Mr. Aston, any other words of wisdom?
No, you're not going to get many words of wisdom from me. So, nope. I'll just leave it with I am just so excited and happy. Yesterday I was just happy going home because we had so many kids here. It was fantastic.
So cool. Well, congratulations on getting us to where we're at or playing a large part in getting us here. So thanks again for your dedication and your commitment to the kids. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mike.
All right,
appreciate
Josh.
it. Thanks for having me on.
We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Bye. All right, Josh Aston, the principal at Templeton High School, who has got obviously no small challenges that he's faced in the last year, and has kind of just taken the bull by the horns and led these students and the faculty at the high school through this time with just an extreme amount of compassion, empathy, and hard work that he's exhibited. So thanks, Mr. Aston, for everything that you do. All right, it's 8:55 and the Morning Buzz is coming to a close here shortly. One last check with Mr. Anthony Reed. Mr. Anthony Reed, we had a little delay last time. How are we doing?
Doing well. Got everything ready for my event today, so I'm looking good. It's looking positive.
Good deal. All right, and one last check on any incidents to report in the North County. What do we got?
Nothing, which is a good thing.
Easy peasy.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right, well, you go have a good day. Good luck at your event, and we will chat with you tomorrow.
Sounds good to me, sir.
All right, see ya.
All right.
All right, Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions, who brings us the news and updates every morning, 3 times a morning. It's supposed to be at 7:15, 7:55, and 8:55, but sometimes I miss my time to get him in, and so today he was a little half hour late because of me and going along with some baseball talk and some videography talk. So. All right, 8:56 on the Morning Buzz. My name is Mike Brady. I appreciate everybody coming and joining in the show this morning. If you've got anything that you want me to announce to the community, to go over to talk with, please, by all means, email me at morningbuzzaroundtown@gmail.com. Or you can message me in the chat, or you can DM me, whatever you want to do. You can even text me if you want, 805-610-3286. Yes, that is my number. All right, so a couple things that I didn't get a chance to talk in detail about today, but I will, is the announcement by Mr. Asplund that they are committed and they are moving forward with in-person learning full-time next year. That is what they're planning for. There's no question. There's no deliberation. It's just that's what they're doing. And then they're also extending the opportunity for a virtual academy to happen for students who want to remain in distance learning. So super exciting. I posted that link to Mr. Asplund's message on the Facebook page, The Morning Buzz. Special thanks to the guests that came on the show today. Mr. Mack, as always, bringing us the daily insight into all the activities happening at the high school. Thank you, Mr. Mack, for doing that. Malcolm High, who is the videographer that is so graciously donating his time and his expertise and his passion to capturing and telling stories of our children and their high school experience. So thank you, Malcolm. And not only the children, but the faculty and the coaching staff and everybody, the administration also involved. And so Malcolm, thank you so much for everything that you do. You've done an outstanding job so far, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Mr. Rob Tompkins, the Templeton High School baseball coach, came on and talked about all things going on. He sent special shouts out to people in the community who have continuously given back to the program and done things to give these kids a great baseball experience. So thank you, Coach Tompkins, for recognizing those community members who do that stuff. And then of course, Mr. Aston checking in with us, giving us the high school weekly update. So all fun stuff. It is Tuesday, the 20th of April, and that's the Morning Buzz. That's the show. Appreciate you guys coming on and enjoying it with me today. I certainly love when I have guests that add value. And so tomorrow we've got Mr. Lewis coming on to do some history lessons with us. I actually asked Mr. Lewis to comment on one thing. There's a new story that's out talking about potentially giving Supreme Court justices term limits. So I asked Mr. Lewis to kind of dig in and tell us where the origin, what the reasoning behind the way the not the legislative, but the judicial branch, how it was designed to give these guys lifetime appointed spots on the Supreme Court. I want to know what that stems from and why people would want to change that, or why would they not want to change that. So we'll learn that from Mr. Lewis tomorrow. I know it's super nerdy history stuff, but I kind of like it. I'm just like all about it. Coach Crow's on tomorrow. We're going to have our football update, and also somebody from the district, whether it's Mr. Asplund or Mr. Burnett, they'll be checking in with us to give us a district update. And Miss Amanda Moore is going to check in with us, our 75 hard update. Today is day, what is day? Hold on, bear with me. Today is day 22 for me. It's not called 75 easy. It's called 75 hard. Today's going to be extremely hard for me to figure out my workouts, but I'm going to have to get it done. So I hope everybody has a good day today. Enjoy the sunshine. Vitamin D is good for you, but not too much. Remember, be careful. Enjoy yourselves. Drink lots of water. Stay hydrated today. All right.